What's up, guys? I'm BTC. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can very easily customize your crosshair in CSGO. As you can see, I'm using the default crosshair, and if I want to change this, I go to Help and Options, then I go to Game Settings, and I can change the style, and I can also change the color. That's pretty much it, though. If you want to change any of the other parts of the crosshair, you have to go into Console. You can enable your console in your options. Now, once you're in the console, you can put in any number of the crosshair commands, and you can change the size of it, the color, the thickness, the gap, all that other stuff. It's actually not that difficult to change your crosshair style using the console. It's just a little bit time-consuming. We're not going to do that, though. Instead, we're going to do this much, much easier. There is a map in the CSGO workshop. It's called Crash's Crosshair Generator, and that is what I'm in right now. Now, when you load up this map, you're going to be in this room, and you can see that we've got some different options in front of us. So the first thing you want to do is you need to pick the style. And I want to explain the difference between the dynamic and the static. The static does not move when you move. The dynamic, however, will get larger when you move around. Now, the point of this is for newer players. When you're moving around, your crosshair gets bigger, and that is to tell you that your bullets are not going to be accurate. So when you're moving and your crosshair is large like that, that means that your bullets are not going to be accurate. You have to stop moving in order for your bullets to be accurate. So we're going to take the static one right here, and you can change the size. You can make it larger or smaller. And then you've got the thickness. You can make it really thin, or you can make it much bigger. And then there's the gap. This is the distance in between the different parts of the crosshair. And then you've got an outline here, which will just, add an outline to the crosshair. It's kind of hard to see, but it's there. See, there it is right there. You can see the outline to the crosshair. And then the alpha is how much you can see through the crosshair. This, if you turn it down at all, I don't recommend going too far, because if it's too light, you can't even see it. So you really want to make sure that your crosshair pops. It needs to really stand out. And then the last thing is the dot, and this just puts a dot in the center. So another thing right here is the background. You can change this so that you can look at the different maps, like see how your crosshair is going to stand out on all the different areas. Like, are there any particular places where your crosshair kind of blends into the background? And this is more for using different colors. So let's see if we can find. Okay, so here's one right here. We're gonna make a white crosshair right here, and as you can see, this is the map cache. And now, obviously, this is an absurdly large crosshair, but let's say it was smaller. It might be, a little more difficult to see when you have your crosshair up against that back there. Or let's say you're in Mirage and you have like a yellow crosshair. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to see against the floor or something like that. So when you're picking your crosshair, that's things you want to take into consideration. Now, we're going to change this back to default. And I know the next question is going to be, well, what is the best crosshair? And the answer is, there isn't one. Let me show you the other side of this room. So over here, we have a lot of different pro players and what their crosshair styles are. Now, if you look, no crosshair is the same, or at least most of them. I mean, there might be a couple that are the same, but for the most part, they're all slightly different. Like this one, like these two are basically the same, but they're slightly different color. So that one's a teal and that one's a green. Now, the thing with all of these different crosshairs is that they all have a similar style, okay? They're all very small, and they are all very bright. So you'll notice most of them are green or teal. And like I said, they're all very, very small. There are a couple that use dots, but most of them don't. So if you're looking for, the ideal crosshair, my suggestion would be to kind of look at, look at what the pros are using and try to pick something along that line. And then, you can modify it a little bit more to your personal taste, but there isn't any one particular design that's the best. You could have, the really small green crosshair or the teal crosshair. You can make it a little bit bigger and have either color. The gap might be a little bit smaller or it might be a little bit larger. Whatever works for you, but the general theme should be you should try to get your crosshair a little bit smaller, and you should also make it so that it's very bright so that it stands out against the background and against other players. Now, if you're just starting, I probably would recommend not using the really, really small crosshairs. I would actually probably recommend using something like this one right here, Style 3, and I would probably leave the crosshair a little bit on the larger side. And the reason for that is because then you can take advantage of, the dynamic. And once you get a little bit better at the game, then you can change over to a static, and then you can actually shrink the crosshair down and more fine-tune your crosshair to the way you want it. So once you get the crosshair, the way you want it, let's see, let's copy that one. We'll come over here, and you can come into this room here, and you can, once again, you can change the background to whatever you want, and you can practice over here. And the point of this is to see, how your crosshair is going to match up. So as you can see, the different uniforms are different colors, and if you have a color on your crosshair that, will you get out of the way, buddy? Like, if you were to have a yellow color, it would be very difficult to see it on that particular terrorist's shirt. Or maybe if you had a darker bluish color, it would be difficult to see on that. So that's why you see a lot of the bright kind of fluorescent colors. One final thing I want to show you on this map. This is just kind of silly, but up here is a secret chicken. And he's dual-wielding AKs. And if you attack him, something really interesting happens. Chicken. Come here, chicken. Oh God. He's got an AK! He's got an AK! He's got an AK! God! No! 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 Oh!